Hello, my friends. Welcome to the stream. Chat, welcome here. If it's your first time, welcome. If it's not your first time, welcome back. We have a pretty cool, chill stream today. We're gonna talk about this Sanguine drawing. I need to find the Sanguine that I have in my drawing gear because it's been so long since I've used this wonderful medium. We're going to talk about that today. It's going to be a fun episode. How are you doing, Omar, Gary? And other than that, what we have we have a list of things to do. The first one, the main one, after I'm saying hello to everybody, I'm waiting for everybody to appear. Notification squad. Make sure you have the little bell turned on next to your subscribe. Otherwise, you won't receive the notifications every time, just when YouTube decides. Hello, Eli. Hello, Kim. We have a little bit of delay, so give everybody time to arrive. So while we have time to arrive, I have like a super exciting news. Last stream with our last guest was absolutely amazing. Kelsey Rodriguez was absolutely awesome. It was a blast to paint alongside her. And I've got another guest for Friday. However, if you're on the other side of the world, it's going to be Saturday for you in New Zealand. How do I know that? How do I know that Friday 9 p.m. for me is going to be Saturday 9 a.m. for you if you live in New Zealand? Well, guess what? Our guest comes from New Zealand. And he was kind of the top of the list of the people that you suggested that I should invite. Should I do the drum roll or do you guess? I'm pretty sure you've guessed already, but hey. Alright, can somebody guess our next? Yes, we already have it! Balsam, great job, exactly. Andrew Tischler, yeah, it's spelled this way. Andrew Tischler is going to be our next guest, yay! So it's going to be an absolutely amazing time. Andrew is just a beast, and yeah, it's gonna be super cool. Like, I have to tell you the weirdest story. So at first I was like, okay, Andrew, we have to schedule this, we have to make it's going to be great and all. So let's have this test meeting, just to, set up the camera and stuff. Let's do that Monday 9 p.m. So it should be 9 a.m. for you, because I was so smart with my time zone calculator, thinking, hey, let's just subtract 12, because I thought I was super smart. And I was like, okay. But then on a Sunday night, suddenly I received an email, and it was Andrew saying, hey, oh, I'm sorry I missed our meeting. And I was like, what meeting? There's no meeting, it's tomorrow. And then I realized that I'm so stupid. How can I be this stupid? I didn't think that for New Zealand it's actually before my time, so he will be like, whenever it's Friday for me, it's Saturday for people in New Zealand. Like, when it's like Friday night for me, it's Saturday morning in New Zealand. And oh my god, I'm glad I had this mix-up before, because it would have been a shame to just, like, I would have been there during the stream, like, on my own, saying, okay, all right, we're waiting for Andrew. All right, man, I don't have a watch, but like, let's pretend that I have a watch. I would have been waiting for Andrew for hours and not see him, and I would have been super disappointed, and you would have thrown, I know you would have thrown rocks at me through the internet, through, I don't know, the magic of your disappointment, I'm pretty sure. Oh man, but we are fine. Like, now this technicality is it's all figured out. So Andrew's going to be there, and you can also participate if you want. If you have any questions for both of us, for Andrew or the both of us, ask away here in content suggestion on, just hide this and go like that. Oh no, not this. Just go like that, please. Okay, just go in content suggestion and ask your questions. Let's have a look at our art challenge, because you have been doing some amazing work. Our art challenge of the last time we talked about art challenge, it was voted to be fire, candlelight, and light bulbs, and you guys, you did some amazing work. I mean, I was surprised. I didn't know so many of you would be motivated to do this. It's crazy, but you rocked. I mean, you rocked this challenge. So, like, really. Can we please watch some paint drying while we wait? Sure, you will. You can. Well, that would have been the entire concept of me waiting for the guest for like 3 hours straight. Oh man. Okay. Andrew is such a gem. Yeah, he's great. It's going to be such a fun stream. And hi Daniel, hello to everybody that I didn't say hello to. So let's review our submissions for the challenge. All right, so we had some pretty cool total cheat painted last year. It's not a cheat as long as it's within the theme. It works as long as it's within the theme, and like it can be something that you did previously, because actually mine, I didn't do that. This one is it's actually a painting that I did before, so yeah, no worries. You're allowed to use previous work, definitely. This is submitted by Anya, so the fire is just very discreet here, but like amazing still life. It's digital, so looks very realistic, to be honest. This is also digital by Critbite. Very interesting texture study. Super cool. Like it looks like photorealistic. Really, so absolutely amazing from Critbite. This is broke open a gouache paint. All right, another one, another candle. Also great for gouache. I mean, I didn't know gouache could do that. First time posting, I shared this gouache painting. Another gouache. I'm not familiar with gouache, but I know that it's way more tricky than it looks. So great job. And so this was. So, okay, I was wondering if it's finished or not just because of the caption before, but like I really like the color choice. Like the blue really sort of feels like octopus-y like, or octopus-like. And yeah, the oval shape works really well. And yeah, here I think it's a small gouache study from several pictures I took last summer. So I think it actually depicts a pretty frightening scene. I don't know, some type of wildfire that happened somewhere. Pretty crazy if you ask me, but like awesome. I mean, awesome to look at, not awesome that it happened. So if it happened near where you live, I hope everybody was okay through that. And we had also this one. So this one is it. Let me see. It's egg tempera, a technique that I know absolutely nothing about. So egg tempera, as I know, dries very fast. So yeah, I'm just always bewildered by like mediums that I don't master. This one by Christopher, also super nice. Just a quick study, but like a lot of simplicity in the color. Really like the texture. Hey, somebody's posting right now. This is not fire candlelight. It's not fire candlelight. But hey, cool orc, I guess. Just maybe the next theme will be orcs, and this one will work great. So there's nothing to win, sorry, except the joy of doing it. That's a great win, if you ask me. Okay, I have to leave, I'll watch this later, no problem. Gouache is underrated, you'll someday realize, because more and more people use it, it's not only for school. I think if I have to pack everything and have a very simple setup where I take all my stuff with me, I'll have something like, you know, James Gurney's stuff, like he has this little gouache setup for plein air. Actually, I have James's course on gouache in the wild. I think it's called like that. Really recommend it, by the way. James Gurney, gouache in the wild. I think. Well, it's about like painting with gouache in plein air, and like just an amazing content. So today we are going to talk about this. Okay, this is from Da Vinci. It's a red chalk, aka Sanguine drawing. Yeah, sorry, I'll have a better, don't worry, I'll have a better reproduction as a model when I do that. Like, let's talk a little bit about Sanguine before we start. And let me switch to a screen that talks about that. So, okay, by the way, this is it, so we can go there. And you'll see this Sanguine by Da Vinci. So this is what we are going to study. Like, this is the master copy that I'm going to do today, but, you know, we will talk a little bit about Sanguine in general as a technique and as a medium. If you don't know, Sanguine is natural red chalk, so a dry earth pigment, what we talked about. If you remember my episode on with, you know, the Mars in the thumbnail, talking about earth tones for skin tones and stuff, I talked about the iron oxide making this very realistic skin and flesh-like color. Very, very easy to do with the pigment that are red iron oxide, so PR101, or other pigments like the pigment for the umbers, PBR7. They can be kind of orangish depending on how they are done. And this is basically the kind of stuff, like basically the same components that you get in Sanguine. So that's technically how it works. That's what you get in Sanguine. Okay, so this is the description. I'm not gonna read this entire thing, but like it's there if you want. And you get something like that. This is another example by Da Vinci. You have something that it's kind of it's at the time they had, obviously they had charcoal. At the time of the Renaissance, they had charcoal. They also had a black chalk, so ground powder, binded or put together with a binder to create the chalk. Like every time you have something in your pencil, like it's it's not a powder because there is a binder in there, right? So it sticks together. So there's a binder. Most of the time it's some type of clay, sometimes with gum arabic, I don't know, like you have like some stuff to make the pencil, like the powder creating the pigments, stick together, creating a lead that you can use to put in a pencil and draw with that. And at the time of the Renaissance, they used a lot of this stuff because they didn't have graphite. So the only option was charcoal or black chalk, and they didn't have graphite, so they had this. Instead of graphite, if you really wanted this very fine line that the graphite gives, you had to resort to silver point. Actually, I'm going to try to give you just an example of what silver point is. And silver point, like graphite wasn't invented at the time of the Renaissance, so silver point, it looks like graphite, but it's not graphite. And the difference with graphite is that it can't be erased, right? So they had limited options for variety in the media that they used at the time. And this gives like a very nice, elegant gray. But, you know, other than black or this, which is not very practical because erasing is not an option, and the ground has to be prepared in a special way. Like you have to almost gesso the paper or use parchment if you want. But like you can't paint on normal paper with silver point, right? And charcoal is too light, so not really ideal as well. But they really found something, a great way to do sketches, do studies, which is red chalk or sanguine. And this allows for a very expressive touch that feels in between the thickness, like the thickness of the line is in between the very brute force of charcoal, and you still retain a little bit of this elegant that graphite can give, but they didn't have graphite, as I said. So you have an in-between solution. You can sharpen it a little bit easier than you could sharpen a charcoal stick, for example. So really they found in this red chalk a great medium that works really well and that still creates some great lines. Plus, another benefit is this very nice reddish color, which is great. So this is actually ink, so I'm not going to count that. Actually, I should go back to the main. Okay, this one. Yeah, this is what I want. So you've got something that gives you, this is another Da Vinci, something that gives you the ability to blend, like with a little stomp. It's a little bit sharper than charcoal because of the binder. You can create some line effects, and you can create some very interesting blending, and you can play, of course, with this wonderful reddish tones that can be more or less brown, but obviously they kind of work like an exaggerated version of the skin tones. It's like taking the, you know, in Photoshop, taking the saturation all the way to the max, you know? So this is how Sanguine, this is what it creates, the type of effects that it creates. So this one is the one that we're going to study today. But other examples works really well for bodies. Michelangelo, which is, this one is an example by Michelangelo, was really a master at this. like you have the ability to work in combination with white as well. So also a pretty cool feature of this. As you can see, the white here, like the paper, the only problem with the old drawings, I mean, they're exceptionally well conserved, but the problem with drawings is like the paper is like, it ages. That's the only thing about this type of paper. It ages a lot. So this is the only problem in conservation. Like you can see really the lines are very interesting, and you've got some absolutely wonderful and delicious red-brown lines. So the famous Silver Point portrait by Dürer. I'm gonna keep this one for a special episode on Silver Point, because Silver Point is also one of my drawing love stories. Yeah, I'm one of the rare who uses Silver Point, even though, because it's not the most practical medium to use, I don't end up using it as often as I wished, but it's an amazing medium. But also, look at this. Look at what you can achieve with a sanguine, or a red chalk, if you want. Let's see how they call it. Red chalk, they call it, with small accents of white chalk. So usually the white has survived a lot less. So you have traces of it. You can see the white here, because when you mix, so this is one thing that we're going to talk about actually, and it's a kind of an important element. So let me bring this one here. Look at this. I can't zoom in any further, but I can try to zoom in just a bit like that. I'm going to highlight something for you. Can you see here how there's like kind of a discoloration, how it gets milky here? It's because for this highlight, Michelangelo kind of mixed the white with the sanguine, and it gives this effect. So you see how when you mix white with sanguine, it gives a discoloration. The white, it gives you some very cool effects for the highlights with very little effort. It's like just a couple of touches of white and it just pops it up. It brings a lot of volume without the need to do anything. Like, as long as you have a toned paper, of course, like anytime you use white, you need some type of toned paper. Like cream works really well for this type of colors. But in this case, you see how here the red and the white, they have blended. And other traces, I think Michelangelo here, he did it properly, and actually the white is not visible. Like the white, it vanished. The white chalk vanished. White chalk has, like especially the one that they used back in the days, like the dry one, had a limited lifespan, really. And so here you see the cross hatching here, beautifully made, beautiful. Like it's genius work here. Just like this sketch is just genius. Like I could zoom in on one of these and just spend the entire stream just looking at that and being amazed at how good it looks like from here. It's insane. It's insane. This is why I didn't choose this one as the one to do the master copy from. Like, and yeah. So here you see how, like, you, if possible, try to separate the white accents from the red. Otherwise, it gives a more pinkish hue. it discolorates the red. So it breaks the warmth, see the natural warmth when it's not mixed with white. And when it's mixed with white, it becomes kind of like it pulls it towards some place where it's less warm and it's visible. So just details, but it doesn't take anything away from, you know, the sheer genius of Michelangelo. All right, how do I... Okay, perfect. All right, so let's just go back to our previous... Okay. All right, perfect. Just, this one, yeah. Oh my god. Another Michelangelo study. Wow, such a sense of volume. Look at this. Bam! So impressive. I love this. And you know, this, like a lot of people bashed Michelangelo for inventing muscles and making the figures very chunky, very bulky, excessively bulky, yes, but like so full of volume and force. And it's like, feels like, you know, going to the gym and working out and you're like pumped like at the end here. Every tiny movement with Michelangelo is like the entire body in motion, and it's like, I don't know. I feel it's exhilarating. Even though, yeah, most of the muscles are great. They all look great. It's like he used to, sure, add extra meat to make it more delicious. I don't know, what can I say? But he was great at it. And Sanguine, like, it works so great with that. Another use of Sanguine is this type of stuff, but we're not gonna like spend a long time talking about that for today. It's the use of the technique that's called trois crayons, three pencils, basically black, white, and Sanguine. So basically the Sanguine is used for skin tones like that, black is used for shadows, and white for the highlights. Pretty self-explanatory, very hard to master though, and make it look good. We can do an episode on that if you want. Great hand study. Andrea del Sarto. Come on, I'm just going to give you the title. Actually, you don't see the bottom, so you don't see who painted this. Alright, okay. Studies of Hands by Andrea del Sarto. Another great artist. I really love Andrea del Sarto. I have to make it a special episode on him at some point. Like Learning from the Masters, dedicated to Andrea del Sarto. Underrated artist. And especially the drawings. His drawings. I don't know, his paintings not so fascinating, but his drawings, so gorgeous. I mean, look at this. It's simplified. It's realistic. It looks great. The motion is not weird. There is just enough simplification because the hands naturally, they tend to look silly, and you have to, you know, discipline the appearance. Like the natural appearance of the hand is not necessarily what's going to look the best. Like if you take a perfect picture, perfect photo of a hand and put that in your painting, it's not always going to be the best choice. Sometimes the best is to just carve it a bit to make it more elegant, and this is a perfect example of this. But again, Sanguine, great technique. So we're only going to talk about dry Sanguine. This is ink. Oh no, there is ink as it's a mix. So there's a mix here of, interesting mix by Da Vinci again, a mix of dry chalk and a bit of ink here. But this was mostly a, you know, an anatomy plate, so you have to be very descriptive. So kind of relining the edges, kind of a necessity if you really want to focus on, you know, A, B, C, D, E, on the muscles, muscle groups. Man, Da Vinci was not kidding around. He was really studying hard the human body. Fascinating, fascinating for some type of battle scene. Crazy. If you want to mirror your screen right now and try to read this, just be my guest. Alright, so this is our all sanguine. So let's do a last one just for the joy. The joy of this. Look at this beauty. Wow. I'm always so amazed. This is another. Guess who painted this? If you didn't have time to read. The artist. You can definitely figure it out. Of course it's Michelangelo. Who else? Who else would have such presence? And keep in mind, which is the crazy stuff about Michelangelo, is like these figures, you can actually recognize them. They are studies, nude studies for the Sistine Chapel, right? The Sistine Chapel, you do have some nudes in the Sistine Chapel, which was actually kind of a, like, in retrospect, they kind of didn't really want that, and they were kind of, okay, good, and then it was covered later on, some of the figures, the nude figures in the Sistine Chapel, but these ones were not intended as nudes. Like in the final, like if you look at the, which prophet is that? Prophet Daniel. This is Prophet Daniel. Prophet Daniel in the Sistine Chapel is clothed, draped. So this is not a nude, like, which is, it's crazy. This man single-handedly painted on a super tall roof, like ceiling, single-handedly, like, climb this little scaffolding to paint with his head up high like that. And he still had time to make a full red chalk study, like a full detail red chalk study. Like, imagine, like, this is just insane. Can you imagine that? Like, you have the biggest commission of all time, paint a huge ceiling by yourself. Like, he had some assistants, but he painted every bit of the Sistine Chapel. He had assistants to, you know, grind the paint, mix the paint, prepare and all, but he painted everything, like almost everything, and he still had time to do a full study for a figure that's not going to actually be visible like that in the final thing. Just the movement of the body was so important for the guy that he spent, I don't know, how many hours do you have to spend to do that? I know I would have to spend like 30 at least to do that. My mind is blown by the intense work energy of this man, Michelangelo. Just absolutely breathtaking art, but we are so blessed that he just did this just for a study. That's a study, guys. Well, no big deal, you know. You make a quick sketch in your sketchbook. Okay, Michelangelo does that. I see, yeah. Cool. Okay. Yeah, it makes you really think about why they are called the greatest masters, right? Really makes you think. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna make a study. Well, I don't care. I'm gonna give this figure some drapery, so technically you're not gonna see any of that. But I'm gonna make the most beautiful study with foreshortening to die for. Just like that. See, that's how important the full presence of the body was for Michelangelo. This was so vital, so crucial to his art. This was not just anatomy. It was the entire presence of the artwork was living through the movement of the body, the presence of the body, the volume, the space occupied by the body. And this technique that we're going to study today, the red chalk, it works so well to create these wonderful volumes of the human body. Yeah. All right, crazy. All right, let's switch to the drawing boards, people. Actually, I have not prepared, so I'm gonna have to do that now. I need to set up. Ah, man. So how is everybody doing? I'm sorry I talked for so long. I didn't follow what you had to say to me. Sanguine is made from clay. Well, clay is the binder. Okay. All right, and I need to change my microphone. I use the microphone that I use when I'm moving around. Sanguine gives you the mid value, that's why it's so versatile. But it's also able to be surprisingly dark. It's something that really surprised me the first time I used it. It's how, like, it doesn't get super dark like a black chalk, for example, but it still gets surprisingly darker than you think. So you can get something very light or something quite dark, actually. And after that, it's also, because it's a color, you're actually just painting with a colored pigment, drawing with a colored pigment. And because it's a pigment, obviously, like any pigment, you can have a little bit of everything. You have some red chalks that are more on the red side, some are more on the orange or even kind of yellowish side, and you have a little bit of all. Some of them are more brown, which can also be more useful, like more generalist. And the greatest thing is you can also mix a few different tones to just complement each other. I don't think this is what we saw in any of the examples that we have watched, but this is a thing that you can do, like push the darks with a Sanguine that's a little bit darker and all. I'm gonna show you, try to find actually my Sanguine, and I'll do that. I'm gonna switch my mic and go to Can you hear me? Yeah. All right. You, Mike. Hey, I'm here. Can you hear me? Yep, you can. All right. So let's try to find this Sanguine stuff. So I've tried a little bit of everything that can be made in terms of Sanguine, and I'm going to show you what I've found to be the best, in my opinion. I never found the ideal Sanguine. So far, maybe if a brand is watching and they want to just send me some samples for me to try, I can give it a try. But I've never found a Sanguine that just works perfectly to my liking. I need this, sorry. All right. Okay, yep. All right, can you see here? Yeah, I think you can. All right. I've got a little bit of a problem with this wire. Okay. Okay, now we should be good to go. All right. As always, not sponsored. Everything I'm showing you is just my own, like the things that I've tried. So if you have tried different grades, let me know how they did. So this one is actually a Conte one. It's actually short, so you don't see what it was. This one, it's by Conte. It's the Sanguine Médicis. I kind of like this one. It's more a brown one. I should have a little piece of paper to some test samples here. Hold on, I'll be back with a piece of paper. Okay, I need to adjust because of the white. Again, so unprepared. The guy doesn't even have a piece of paper ready. I'm gonna use a yellow paper. You'll see better how well it does. So this is the Sanguine Médicis. You see that you can get some very light tones. The only thing, it's kind of a thick one. This one is more on the red side, but you can do some very dark passages like that. It's not orange at all. It looks more red, brown, kind of, they call it mummy brown, but yeah. Kind of almost wine-like qualities. This one is good. If you try to blend, it can get messy. It's just saying that. So this one I'm gonna write down is the Médicis type. This is not an official, you know, an official word. This is not actually called Sanguine, but it's the same spirit. This one is a sepia, so this one is more a brown. Yeah, Caput Mortuum, exactly. It looks more Caput Mortuum-ish. This is the sepia. It looks a lot more brown in this one. In this case, this wouldn't be considered Sanguine, but you know, it's kind of the same family. All right, what else do I have? This one. This one I think was actually pretty good. It's Burnt Sienna by Faber-Castell Polychromos. This one is cool. It's more, it feels more like a colored pencil. It's not too saturated, so it doesn't look very orange. This one is Burnt Sienna by Faber. Oh yeah, this kind of makes it, it works really well. I'm trying to focus more on the paper, sorry. All right, is it sharp? Okay, so this one is good, it's a decent option. This one isn't actually a yellow, an ochre yellow. I'm not gonna count it, just wanted to show you what it does, just for the fun. Here is all the non-sanguine family. It does what it says, it's a yellow, like yellow ochre. It can be interesting with some type of very dark paper. But yeah, in our case, wouldn't work. But you can also sometimes, like if there is something wrong happening and you need to bring more of this yellow element, like we said, you have the discoloration due to the white, you can also push it back a little bit with a touch of this. Like it's just like colored pencils. You can, you know, mix colors here and there. What else do I have? I had another one, but it's not in this box, so it should be in this one. Okay, so this one is called Sanguine Russet 666 0.65. So I don't know why they chose 666 by Caron d'Arche. This one is more on the orange side, and I have my model right next to me, and when I compare it, I think it will work better with my model. So far, it's the Caron d'Arche. And it's actually called Sanguine. Okay, that's so this is the closest to my reference, but we'll see what else I have. This one is a Conte Pastel 007. This one also looks very soft compared to the other ones I have, because this one is a pastel, so more pigment, less binder. I don't know if you can see how it's like, it's almost dusty, like it almost flies away. This is a pastel, it's more chromatic and also a lot softer, so it means there's less binder in this, holding the pigment together, and more pigment, so it's more chromatic. but the lead is more likely to break. That's sometimes a problem. Okay, I've got, like, I tried a little bit of everything, you know. I tried a little bit of everything I could get my hands on. This one by Derwent is dark terracotta. Actually, okay. Okay, so this is dark terracotta. Good, kind of reddish. Next. Okay, I'll try them. Like, I already have like a decent selection of a bit of everything. Actually, what I figured using Sanguine is every time I was using them, I was mostly going for the more brown and darker tones. So ultimately, I figured that I'm actually a big fan of the sepia. So it's kind of a middle ground between drawing with black and drawing with Sanguine. So there is some color in the brown, but not as much as the very strong reddish tones of the Sanguine. So other than what we are doing here, explaining this stuff, I don't think I would normally draw with Sanguine naturally. This wouldn't be my colored pencil or chalk of choice. But I had another one, I can't find it anymore. Maybe I used it or maybe I lost it. Whatever, I'm not gonna waste your time looking for this, but hey. Okay, yeah, whatever. Just I wanted to talk about this other one because it was kind of, I don't remember what the brand and the type exactly. Okay, all right, can't find it, so no need to spend hours. Maybe I lost this one. Okay. So, as you can see, this is all my selection plus the white. And today, the best one for me, for what I need to do, is going to be this one, Carandache. This is the Pablo type. I don't know. This looks the more like my reference. So this is what I'm gonna do for this one. Okay. Hey, good evening, Drusilla. Good evening, everyone that I didn't have time to say hello to. I'm talking so much. You have to stop me when I'm too talkative. The advantage of sepia is its convenience on many colors of paper, yellowish gray. Exactly, yeah, it works better with, like, it's more versatile. And I find that it's a good all around cutter for this type of like general purpose. It's kind of, if you don't want to use black, a sepia pencil is the next best thing. If you just want to avoid the, you know, using a black. Hey, Drenky! Alright, so we've got a, like, it's always good to have a little test, because you see the variety. Just like with earth tones, it's like, yeah, you get a lot of variety. It's great. You get tons of options. You can have something very flashy, like if you use this one, the pastel one, it's going to pop. It's going to be very intense, and the color is going to be like very, very intense. And you can have something more like a terracotta that looks more, you know, neutral, that will allow you to do things that are not as, okay, maybe I'll, you know, not as red, not as intense in terms of red. Oh, actually my frame is completely off. I'm very sorry. I'm gonna put the Leonardo in the reference. You'll see that my printer didn't necessarily render the best version of this drawing, but you know. Hi, Luis. All right, let's calm the music now. Now that we're making, now that we're switching to the drawing. So this drawing, this model that I've chosen actually, is it's a very interesting one, because it was made by, so it's a drawing by Da Vinci, sure. It was made for the Battle of Anghiari. If you're Italian here, you can blame me for my poor Italian pronunciation. The Battle of Anghiari is a very famous painting that Leonardo never finished. One more. But one of his biggest projects. So the Battle of Anghiari is some type of apparently famous battle for the people of Florence or Milan, I don't know. Don't really know the history, but he did like a whole lot of studies that even during his like that became famous on their own, almost. Like they became you know, pieces of art that, and actually who was it? Rubens studied the studies of Leonardo. Exactly, Rob, exactly that. Rubens did study the Battle of Anghiari from Leonardo's study. So studying a study, right? It's not, it didn't even need to be a finished work to be so valuable that an artist like Rubens would be interested in master copying it. So pretty cool, if you want my opinion, like the impact that Leonardo had, like, because I think he, like always with Leonardo, he was thinking way too big for how many projects he had running out at the same time. Like he was building funky machines, war machines, he was organizing parties, he was writing poetry, he was doing all sorts of stuff and his very big ambitious projects, it was more, he had like a lot more to execute than time to do it all. And the Battle of Anghiari is definitely an example of that. Like, he went over his head and didn't realize that, you know, this would be... I don't think he had... I think he had a very different personality compared to Michelangelo, for example. Like, Michelangelo could, like, have no life for however many months he needed to do the Sistine Chapel, but Da Vinci would never sacrifice all his other interests and projects to finish this. So he had like many things at the same time. He was a man at, like, a jack of all trades. Like, he had like the whole, he was gifted and good at everything, which meant that, like, you know, one day he's starting his studies for the Battle of Anghiari, but the next day he's building a machine that's kind of the precursor of the helicopter. Right. You can't blame the guy for not being active. He was just active on, like, everything at the same time. He was a universal spirit. Couldn't focus on just this one thing and finish it, like slaving at work like Michelangelo did. I think Da Vinci was way too interested in all these other fields of research and exploration to finish this. And this Battle of Anghiari, the principle of this battle, like, this is just one of the face of the warriors. The idea that Da Vinci had for this battle is he wanted to have the characters of the battle, like, tied into nodes. He was fascinated, Da Vinci was fascinated by nodes and how they connect, like how parts connect and form a whole. And he wanted to make this Battle of Anghiari kind of a node of humans with, you know, like swords and poles and horses' legs, everything like kind of intertwined into a giant jujitsu kind of mess where everything is like tied together. It's super... I mean, let me see if I can find the... Let me see if I can find the Battle of Anghiari, just to give you the context, because it's fascinating. Okay. This is actually what you're seeing here is the copy by Rubens. See how it was a kind of a node of people, what we could call a giant mess. A giant mess. But this is the intensity of the battle. I think the character that we're looking for should be this one here, this one, you know, and like the connections. If you look at the connections, like this one is holding this pole arm and this one is holding it too, and he's turned with his back. It's like Baroque before Baroque was even invented. Keep in mind, the main tenant of what we consider classical art had invented Baroque before it was even a thing. So how about that for genius? That is slightly too high and I can't drop my lemon. Alright, I'll be right there. I need to readjust my easel, sorry. Being Italian sounds bad. Michelangelo. If I pronounce Monet with T final, I want to see French reaction. I don't know. Sorry for not pronouncing right. I'm probably messing up your beautiful language. I'm super sorry. I really need, you know, I'm always saying, hey, I want to learn Italian. And start actually learning. Sorry, this is going to look like the earth is falling down. It's just that I'm readjusting my easel because it wasn't stable. Alright, I'm done. I'm done fighting with my easel. I don't know, I have a much better easel just right next to this one. I don't know, I keep using my old one. Man, life of an artist. Okay. I'm looking for the actual reference so that you can see better. You'll have better cutters. Okay, and oh, it's small. Still haven't painted or still haven't started anything. We're taking our sweet time here. Sorry to waste your time. Apparently Da Vinci drew with his left hand and painted with his right hand? Is that true? Can't wait for you and Undertaker to talk. Yeah, I can't wait as well. It's gonna be a fun time. So here is this emptiness here is like space that was left for the helmet. Yeah, so someone please can confirm this info about the left hand thing, because I have my doubts, but I don't know. I mean, if I try doing that, it's going to look like absolutely nothing. Like my left hand, I think I'll do better with, let's just say that right away. I think I'll do better with my right foot than my left hand. And I'm not even lying. I'm not even lying. I think, I do believe that. Oh yeah, I do believe that. Ah, okay. Okay, so he was apparently... Okay, I'm gonna highlight this. Apparently when Da Vinci sent out his last years in France, he couldn't paint because his right hand was paralyzed, so he just drew. Okay, so is this why he switched... Is this why he switched hands? Because I know there's the, you know, a condition, or I don't, it's not a condition, it's like a thing, being a contrived, or I don't know how you call this in English, like a left-handed person who is forced to use their right hand, and you sort of, obviously you sort of learn how to use it, but you have been forced, like, because, you know, there was a time when they didn't necessarily allow kids in school to have this. I remember my mom telling me that she was like that. Like, some teachers didn't want her to use her left hand for some reason, like very weird, you know, old times. But yeah. Well, from what I know, he drew and painted. From what I know, he was just a left-handed person, but he was left-handed, like he could like think left-handedly, like in a mirrored way. Like when you think about his like mirrored writing, kind of crazy. Sorry, sharpening my last bit of... Well, you can post a link in the Discord if you want. It's funny that you asked that about the Salvador Mundi. I did an entire video on my channel, actually, reacting to the info. I don't think it's entirely by Leonardo, which is not to say that it's a bad thing. He was he was working with assistants, and but I do think that they were too fast to do the research because they knew that there was a lot of money. I mean, actually, I think the money ruined the a valuable piece of work, because I still think it's an authentic studio of Da Vinci. I don't know, I think they rushed to present it as, you know, the new big thing, and they didn't want to give the time to the researchers to do their jobs and just confront ideas, because they knew that it could drop the value. I still think it's an interesting painting. I think it's been over retouched, over restored. Technically, restoration is removable, so it's not a big deal. Right, finally I have a sharp lead. So sorry for my... You'll see nothing for the beginning, so I have to darken again. Yeah, pretty much. I think in this case, yeah, money really effed up this particular painting, especially because right now it's held captive in MBS's yacht, apparently. Because why is a yacht the best place that you can find to store an incredibly valuable and fragile painting? So now it's on this yacht, like in the yacht of this person who doesn't care one single bit about art, doesn't care about Renaissance, that just grabbed this painting because it was just cheap pocket money for him. Maybe he had like plans for Saudi Arabia to build like some type of museum. If it's not part of your culture, why try to build a museum in Saudi Arabia with a Da Vinci? I mean, like, it's like, I'm pretty sure Saudi Arabia has tons of culture to build museums out of. Like, I don't see the appeal. And I think like the museum is nowhere to be seen, it's not going to be anywhere to be seen in a couple decades, and the painting is going to be lost. Like, nobody will ever see it, and that's the real shame. It doesn't matter what you think about it, like, it could be an international treasure for everybody to witness with their own eyes. And yeah, it's just a shame. I don't know. What do you think? Hi, Jonas. Surrounded... yeah, best idea. Surrounded by nothing but water. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? This is the safest place, right? Who goes to Saudi Arabia? Well, they're trying to make this sterile desert into something apparently worth visiting. They have this, you know, gigantic vanity projects that are completely useless. Like, they want to build this giant linear city out of nowhere. Like, it's funny how cheap energy makes you think like energy doesn't matter. Like, you get tons of cheap energy, cheap fuel, but it's basically burning it. Like building a city of glass, like a city of a greenhouse city in the middle of a desert that you have to climatize to the extreme. It's technically like you can take the oil money and burn it directly. It's like less of a trouble. Like, why don't you do that immediately? And why buy gorgeous paintings that are valuable to people interested in Renaissance? Why deprive people? Just because you have money, you deprive tons of art lovers from seeing a Da Vinci and studio. And now you are disappointed because it's not the real one. Oh, well, you're crying because some experts have not confirmed that it's a Leonardo only, but a studio work. Yeah, I've heard about the Chardin strawberries, and the Louvre has, like, they sort of held the painting, like the state has held the painting for the sales to give priority to the Louvre, except the Louvre, they don't have the money to buy, so they have to make a big, you know, how do you call that? Crowdfunding. A big crowdfunding project to buy it. But actually, who decided on the price of this painting? If it's overpriced, you just don't buy, because you play the games of the greedy a-holes who try to sell this painting for a price that's not the right price, and you play right into their games. And they are so happy whenever they can sell a painting to a prestigious art institution, because it makes it feel less like money laundering for them. It's a tricky game between private investors and art institutions. Art institutions, they want to have the best paintings, sure, they just don't have enough money. So the private sphere makes sure that sometimes they have some of their paintings go through public collections, because it gives them prestige and allows them to keep the prices high, super high. But that's still a part of their game. Like, the Louvre is a public institution. It's my money, my taxpayers' money is going through, like, through the Ministry of Culture. It goes through founding the Louvre, and they spend money on something that they can't afford. They don't even consider that this is just a hoax that they're just a part of. They're accepting their role of being a cog in raising all prices in the private sphere. This is an elite club, and I hate this when they try to use the public institutions for the prestige. You know, sometimes, hey, oh yeah, I bought this Modigliani. It's worth, let's say, I'm inventing a price. I can invent any price I want. It's my art. And I'm so rich that I basically decide the price with my friends. Now, I want to have, you know, the stamp of approval that my price is the right price. This way I can make sure that it doesn't drop below this price ever, so I'm not losing money. I'm gonna give this one, like, for free. That's a free painting. I'm gonna give this one to a prestigious art institution, a public art institution. And the public art institution, they are very happy to accept the painting because they have very little funding. And what they do is they just give it away. They get a very generous tax exemption for giving it away, of course. And giving it away, just giving one away, but keeping 10 on the side, it keeps the prices of the 10 very high, and it raises the price. So it's a win-win for the super wealthy, win-win-win, except that the art institutions, they win in a way because they get a free painting, but they are played like fools. And I hate that because it's my money. It's my taxpayers' money going through that. Like, they can do whatever they want in their private spheres, but I hate it when they use public foundings to justify and make their insane prices feel more legit than they are. So yeah, what do you want? Well, what do I want? I think I'm gonna join. I don't know if there is a public commission. I don't want the Louvre to waste any more of my taxpayers' money. I don't know how they decided this, but I think there is a society that you can sort of participate. So this is probably a collegial, and it's probably been voted by, like, you know, I don't know who, but I want to be a part of this next time. Just say no. Just buy some art that you can afford, and don't play into their games because they're just using you. It's insane. Art is unfortunately used to launder money. Yeah, well, you bet. It's not technically laundering. It's like, laundering is what your mafia crook does. When you're super wealthy, it's not laundering. It's creating it out of thin air. Because art is one of these things that don't have a set price, which is why it's so valuable. And a lot of people think, wow, art is amazing, how it can be so expensive because it's so great. It is indeed great. And the greatest paintings of all time are indeed great. That's not what's interesting the investors in art. What matters to them is that there is no set value that you can compare a specific art to. It's non-fungible, if you want. And this means that anytime you say this painting is worth 100 million, there is no other exactly similar painting that you can compare it to say, okay, this price is abusive or this price is good. So you can play with prices, and if you know the right persons, if you play with the right actors, you can manipulate the prices in your favor. And yeah, that's what they do. And if you want to know, by the way, the Da Vinci painting, it had like the filthiest. If you want to document yourself on what happened to the Salvator Mundi before it was sold at this auction, just go look it up. You'll see some filthy maneuvers with Russian oligarchs, free ports, like the most, like everything that's just the worst in the world of money. It has absolutely no interest in art whatsoever. Just making making money appear out of thin air. So I'm confusing the story of the Chardin with the one by Da Vinci, but it's kind of similar. Overpriced paintings that don't end up in the right hands. In the case of the Chardin one, they want to prevent that. It's laudable, but it's still the same are winning in the end. Oh yeah, the Masterworks investment scheme. There were some some financial guys who analyzed if it's legit or not, and it's not entirely legit. They haven't proven that it's a scam per se, so it's not a scam, or it's not been proven that it's some sort of a scam. But they make money mostly out of recurring fees rather than from the investment alone. Well, but the problem, Jasmine, is what do you do when the piece has been sold? Like a scheme, not scam, yeah. What can you do when the piece has been sold like a while ago and now it's someone else has it and wants to sell it again? Like, and the actual artist is long it has been gone for a while. See, with Sanguine, I like to work like that, like progressively, working thinly and very lightly at first, and then just working with the light, creamy color of the paper, and try to pull the darkness gradually, using like directional scratching and just hatching. You don't need much to create an impressive effect of volume with this technique. That's what's great about it. Yeah, sure, Jasmine. What do you do when in 500 years from now, when people discover your art and just suddenly discover that it's the best thing in the entire world and they have to sell it? Or, like, you don't decide. Like, you don't decide what happens in your posterity, sorry. Well, if anybody can make money out of what remains from you, they will. Just trust me. And the best that can happen, like let's say you're a not so famous artist and all of a sudden, like after you pass away, your art sort of blows up and you become famous out of nowhere. The best that can happen is that your family actually cares, like your family actually cares about your art and sort of creates a foundation that's going to handle whoever is interested, but actually some of these can become very powerful. Like you have the Chagall Foundation handling the work of Marc Chagall. It's actually because they sell for such an incredible price now. Like the ears of Chagall have become part of this business as well. Like they can just make money out of just handling the work of their grandfather or great-grandfather. And they can, like, your ears can become greedy themselves. Like I think the daughter of Claude Monet also was involved in handling the work of her father. Like this is the best that can happen to whatever remains from your art, if it ever becomes, you know, famous. The most likely outcome is it will fall into obscurity, obviously, like everything else, and it will just end up in some house here. Like it will end up maybe in a thrift shop. Some people will say, hey, this looks cool, and maybe it will live on. Most of it might get destroyed. That's a possibility, you know. Chagall painted the roof of the Opera Garnier, yeah. So sad when artists don't get to enjoy people appreciating them in their lifetime. Yeah, you know, it's actually a lot more common, even for artists that we think have been appreciated. Like it seems so obvious that they had to be appreciated, but no, not necessarily. Like Van Gogh is the most famous example, but like a lot of artists were not appreciated to the value that they deserved in their lifetimes. Sad reality, but that's just how it goes. So this chalk, this pencil is erasable, but you can't really force your luck. And they all have, like, you know, all the chalks, the pencils, they have very variable, like they all have different, a different propension to be erased. Some of them are erased easily, some of them aren't. So the thing to do is just do like Da Vinci, is like you have some strong lines and some weak lines, and you don't necessarily need to erase everything. If you look at the model, like you still have some construction lines that are still there and they have not been erased. because some of them it's not necessarily worth trying to erase. Sometimes it's better to just keep them very light at first and gradually increase the darkness for whatever is correct, and leave, if you start with some very thin, very delicate lines, even if you mess up, it's not going to be visible in the end because of the contrast with the others. Doesn't make it right, Flo. What doesn't make it right, Gary? I didn't get. Didn't get this. People who go against the floor, insignificant little ants. Ants have a good organization, yeah. I think ants are not insignificant. Like, they're not as insignificant as we want to think. Like, we have this human hubris. But actually, I think like, in terms of biomass, like, if you take the weight, the mass of all the ants, they weigh way more than all of us, and maybe all of the stuff that we built. I'm not sure, but maybe. Like, this is crazy if you think about it. This is really ants and bees, they really have the cheat codes of the animal kingdom with regards to reproduction and just survival. Like, they don't care. Like, each individual ant doesn't care that it survives. That makes their survival even stronger. Sorry, I'm gonna switch headsets because it's keeping me too warm. Okay. Hello? Okay. Too many wires. Wish I could have a wireless system, but Bluetooth also has its problems. You can find an excellent 5-part TV miniseries on the life of Leonardo, an Italian TV drama for the 70s with excellent actors. Yeah, okay, I trust you, because I've always been fearful of these, you know, reenacted scenes in history documentaries. I've always been kind of you know, old looks kind of like sometimes not that good, but yeah, if the actors are good, it can be good. But yeah, sometimes they have like, you know, the, not to be mean, but they have like bad actors just playing these characters, and it creates these silly scenes like that sort of populate the documentary, where actually in reality the only thing you need sometimes is just the documentary, just the information, just bring us the good content. You don't necessarily need to have this actor trying to reenact the scene. But yeah, we are aware that Hollywood is fake, right? Yeah, Hollywood is. What do you want? I don't think this documentary is made by Hollywood. All right, cool. If you're interested in a Da Vinci show, you can also watch the show that I've participated in, because now it's on YouTube, but I don't have the link right now, or I do on my website. On my website, you can watch this. If you haven't watched it ever, you can check it out afterwards. It's in my news section. I did this one when I was decoding Da Vinci. It's on my website. I'm gonna do share. Well, it's on. Well, actually, I'm gonna do that. Will be better. Okay. It's the first one in my news feed on my website. Unfortunately, I can't show it to you because it's copyrighted by PBS. But I'm in it. I'm in there. You can see my silly face here. Look at me. I was young. And goofy. I didn't know how to speak English, and I'm just always so ashamed. Oh my god. I can't look at myself from back then. I was in my tiny studio. They had a it was messed up. I had to put this behind me to make it feel that there was lots of stuff. Well, it was kind of all fake, but yeah. I mean, the show though is super interesting and all. Like, it's just my goofy face in this. It's painful for me to watch, but hey, if you're interested, it's there, right? Oh yeah. Ugh. Yeah, when you look at your old stuff, it's like, I can't watch my old YouTube videos. Actually, this would be a fun stream to make, like cringing at my old content. That would be a fun stream idea. Looking at my old videos and just cringing. Yeah, thank you, Dranky. You're so nice. I have to say, I was amazed and puzzled how Doug, the director, was so into what I had to say and all. And just, yeah. I would feel way more confident, like today, to have the show done today, I would be way more confident. I believe that I would have way more interesting things to say. But I don't know, they were happy with whatever I could give them back in the days. They were, you know, because they always have these experts on the history of art, and they wanted a more technical and artist perspective on how it's actually done. Like, how do you use this? Like, because Doug, the director, was really interested in how a painting is made and what makes the difference, and he wanted to have, you know, an artist perspective. So that's how it was done. A good time to plug the courses, lol. Always a good time to plug the courses. I do it always in my regular videos, so I'm leaving you alone in my streams. I mean, a lot of the people who follow me in my streams, they have, some of them are on Patreon, some of them already they already have the courses. Some of them, I don't know, I don't want to bother you with that. Okay, so this here. Okay, now I'm gonna use the power of negative shapes. I don't know why I pictured, you know, the Power Rangers. Let's use the power of negative shapes, dun, 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 and it transforms your vision. Like, you have some very strong negative shapes here. So basically, this is the positive shape, what's the inside, and this here, the negative. Just think of negative. And when you think negatively, something triggers in your brain that says, hey, wow, didn't notice that. Can we say seriously we become old in a few years? Well, you become old anytime. I have a 4-year-old kid. He's becoming older every second. Like, that's our fate, isn't it? Or what did I miss? Is there something that I'm not getting, Jasmine? Like, that's the beauty of Carpe Diem. Enjoy life. Like, we become old every day, every second. Like, between the moment I started this sentence and the moment it finishes, you became older. Hey Barbara, good to see you. Yeah, drinking. My son is 4. Yeah. I'm so glad that he went through the terrible 2, like, you know, this phase of their lives when they are 2 and they become little monsters. But always so cute little monsters. But, like, I'm glad he's out of this phase now, so he's really sweet. And he's finally capable of playing on his own, you know. Just, you don't have to always be next to him for him to be playing. He starts to, you know, he starts to play, like, with, you know, his toys alone. So giving you, like, I still like playing with him, but, you know, sometimes it's good to have time for making at the chores. He was so cute. He's always been so cute. I just love him so much. He's so, well, what do they say? Full of life. You know, that's a nice way to say, full of life. Or it's maybe another way to say exhausting, but he's like, now that he's found like, now he's capable of playing Legos like without me being there all the time, because I have, and it's, guess what, it's still my old Legos that I had when I was a kid. Just went to the grandparents' house and just grabbed my old box of Legos, and yeah, it's still like, this is the greatest toy of all time. It's still, they are as good as they ever were. You know, just clean them, dust them off, and they still click the same, as good as they ever were. And now he's capable of playing with, like, you know, more sophisticated, like, it's really cute. He's inventing stories. It's just so cool. And he's super funny and like witty, and like he is always so smart, and just, I think he's going to be, I don't know, I have this intuition that he's not going to become an artist, and if he's ever in the, you know, arts, he's going to be comedy, sorry. He's going to become a comedian. I have this kind of intuition. It, like, so far it doesn't seem that he's interested in music, but he's interested in making people laugh and just being silly, you know, being the center of the of the scene. Sounds to be his, you know, his gig, his stuff. He's made for that. He's good at it. Legos, yeah, they cross time, definitely. Balsam, mine are almost pre-teens, and I miss that age. Yeah, each age has its own, you know. That's life. That's life. That's the beauty of life. Huh. Yeah, but it flies. It flies. Looking back, it just... Time flies. That's how it is. The only thing that I feel good about, like reminding me of when my son was just a little baby, is that I've moved on. I accomplished like a decent amount of things to make me sustainably satisfied with whatever I'm doing and with the people I'm with that I love. And you know, I'm glad that I feel that I couldn't be happier in my life, even though like I've never thought about life as some sort of a, you know, you need to have a big break, like this big breakthrough painting that's going to open all the doors for you. I'm not aiming for that, I'm not expecting that, and I'm definitely not relying on that to be happy and satisfied with my life. What the most important part is just having enough money to make this machine just work and stay afloat, keep my family safe, be with the ones I love, and and do what doesn't make my life miserable every day. I'm not saying be happy every day, because that's unattainable. Yeah, happiness is too big of a goal to try to go for. Happiness is something that happens eventually, but it's not. It's an ideal. It's like beauty. It's like saying I want to have beauty in my art. Sure, that like it will happen eventually, but it can't be your only focus because it's too much of a high ideal. It's like too much of perfection. Like it's never easy to just get it because it's just too perfect. It's too big of a goal. Like if you aim just a little bit lower and try to feel content with like slightly lower than happy, then eventually you'll become happy just out of not being too complicated in what makes you happy. And yeah, some things you don't choose, like your health. Well, you can just try to have a healthy life, but like sometimes it's just like fate. But yeah, like so many things are out of your control that your happiness is just too much of an illusion just to think of it as your goal. Like, be happy. I want to be happy every day. No, it's not. You're deluding yourself. You can't want to be happy every day. You have to accept the sad moments. You have to accept the moments where you have a fight. You have to just do things that are unpleasant. And if you can have the right way to tackle these tougher moments, this is what makes you happy. It's like you're becoming a better person overall and slightly increasing the amount of responsibilities that you can endorse, the number of people that you can help, the number of tasks that you can achieve without putting more effort. You slowly optimize your life. The goal is not to be happy, it's to each day have slight, small, almost impossible to notice improvements that just make your life less miserable. Like, life is miserable by default, and you learn how to deal with it progressively from the day you are born. But like, the default is misery, absurdity. That's my philosophy, at least. But you can endorse this and try to become. You don't want to have the ideal, you want to have stronger shoulders to be capable of pushing through the bad times. You don't want only good times to happen to you, because that's just impossible. I enjoy the pursuit of learning. Every day is exciting for me when I promise myself to learn something new. Exactly. And finding a way to do that sustainably is the closest, I think, to happiness that I ever got. Learn every day, improve ever so slightly every day. Or every day, you know what I mean. But yeah. Being ancient young people always amazed me with what they consider to be a problem. Well, you know, we all have problems. I never you can say, well, this teen is just angry because his iPhone won't charge, but like we all have our problems. Like, what matters is to learn how to deal with them. It's just like, when you think about it, like, think about being a baby, like a very, very young toddler, and you might think, well, you have nothing to worry about. Like, your mom is there, you have nice cushions, you're warm, you're in your nice jammies, like with like your, you know, your teddy bears, and you have nothing to worry about. But like, whenever your mom leaves the room, that's a huge problem for you, because you're not really conscious that she will come back. You don't know that when you're so young. So that's like, your world is falling into pieces every time mom leaves the room. You might think, well, that's not a problem, she's come back. But yeah, but like, we all have our problems, and you might think this is the best time. Like, you're just, everybody takes care of you, everybody just takes care of everything for you. You have zero responsibilities, zero problems, but still you do have like some fundamental things that scare you, because every time like something small happens, like your world is still shaken off. And we all have things like that. At all ages have their own problems. Like my son, sometimes he has like, you know, like problems that a 4-year-old has. And you get better at dealing with them. It's not that the problems, they don't disappear. It's just you get better. Like, your mom is not gonna always be in the room. It's just you as a person who learned how to not cry every time mommy leaves the room. Well, I hope you learned that. But every problem in life is just exactly like this fundamental problem. And if you just try to work at dealing with problems as they come, and that's the best you can do, at least. Happiness is not an option. The only thing you have is just your fortitude, your internal fortitude. Happiness is not an option, it's just a delusion. Laura's English is very good. Oh, thank you, Laura. It seems to me we need problems if we are problems free, we have, come on, I can't read this one. Why is it scrolling down? Seems to me, it doesn't want to show me this. Seems to me we need problems. If we are problem free, we have to think problems into existence, pretty much. There is actually a Dostoevsky book, I forgot the title about that. With the one, like the guy writing in his like basement, but I forgot the title, sorry. I don't know if I even have the title in English. Yeah, we all have problems, I think, because that's how our brain works. Like, we're always trying, like, we evolved to be creatures that worry about things. Technically, evolution took care of those humans, like the prehistoric humans, that didn't worry about, you know, gathering for the winter and, you know, problems, or making a fence to prevent the bears from attacking or something like that. Those humans who weren't stressed, they just died. Like, natural selection took care of them when we were in the prehistoric phase of our humanity, and now we're left with anxious. This anxiety is what helped us survive throughout these tough times. So anxiety is, you shouldn't blame anxiety. Like, your anxiety is what made you be there in the first place. Like, no ancestors of yours was just a chill, relaxed, not anxious person. Like, we all have these stressed out, anxious, worried ancestors in our DNA. They are part of our DNA, because those who didn't worry about the future, they got wiped out. So we are all very likely to worry, and we are very, like, all human beings, no exception. We have a lot of stress that's in our DNA. Like, stress is it's a message that you need to worry about something for the future. If it's irrational, then you need to worry about the stress. But if the stress is irrational, it's about something that actually makes sense, then you need to worry about this thing in the future. And that's actually smart, to be stressed about something that you should be worrying about instead of procrastinating. Yes. And if you do that, if you take this responsibility to deal with whatever it is that you have to do to make sure that your future self has the same level of security and comfort as you in the present, then that very thing, making something towards this future self, makes you happy and makes you feel good. So it's not the definition of happiness, it's the definition of working towards happiness. But we live in societies where we have lost this, you know, I don't know how to say this, benevolent, well, the good side of stress. We have lost it for, you know, bullshit stress. Like, when you do a bullshit job, that's exactly what they do to you. Like, they give you stress that doesn't mean anything. Like, you stress for this presentation that you didn't even ask for. You stress for something that's completely meaningless. And yeah, like, that's not good stress. That's not the right type of anxiety that you should have, and that's very destructive because we have lost like this is not the right type of stress. I'm sorry. It's not the right type of anxiety that's helping in any way, shape or form. Because in like 500 years, who's going to care about this silly presentation that your boss asked you to do? Who's going to care that you just arrived late? What does really matter in this world anymore? And I think art is a very good way to release this stress, this anxiety that's not channeled in the right type of human activity. Through art, you can channel all this bad energy that we collect every day, and you can put it into your art, and it's very liberating. Like, it's like some even came up with the idea of art therapy, like art itself as a therapeutic experience. No kidding, it's a thing. Alright, I've missed a lot of... I've been talking on my own, but... Why is it so... My chat is growing so fast. You guys are writing too much. Okay. He seems to be talking about other people's work. What was it Marcus Aurelius said about anxiety again? I can't recall the quote. Don't know. Like, kind of everything he said could be about that, but things you can control, or I don't know. Happiness is subjective. Nice one, Felicia. Your husband's strategy. That's a nice one. How come he speaks fluent English? I take it one of his parents is English. No, actually, no. But I do spend all my time on YouTube, and I watch just more. I think I watch more content in English than in French. So, like, you end up just mimicking the sounds that you hear all day. No kidding, I have, like, YouTube, like, through, you know, podcasts and stuff, I have, like, constant sounds, people talking while I'm doing my art. So at some point, you know, you get to it becomes more natural. And I made the test actually, I was thinking because the trickiest part is to do the drawing, do the art, and focus on art and focus on what you're seeing at the same time, which some people can't even do, like, even if English is their first language. It's tricky. I've tried, and actually, guess what? I'm more used to talking with you guys online through chat. When I tried drawing and speaking French at the same time, I was less fluent in French. So basically, of course, my French was better than my English, but I was not as good as doing the drawing and the talking at the same time in French, because I'm so used to talking with you in English. I could, obviously, it's just a matter of training. And obviously, if I had to do a French stream, it would be way more seamless if just a couple training sessions, or just after a couple streams, it would become better, because I'm obviously more fluent in French. But like, as of today, if I had to do an entire live stream in French, I would have a hard time drawing at the same time. I would have to put the pencil down a lot more. Crazy. It's just a matter of training. Like, the human brain is kind of insane. You can train to become anything. And yeah, at first it was difficult, you know, this entire talking and making art at the same time. The more you do, you know. I use art as therapy, as Tucker says. Yeah, a lot of people do that, and I think I don't consider art as therapy in my case. But if I stopped making art, like all of a sudden, I would definitely need therapy, and the best way to deal with the sheer sadness that not making art would impose on me would be to make more art. So in a way, I don't know, it keeps me sane. I wouldn't call it therapy, because I don't think I have, you know, any type of pathology to treat through art. However, I'm pathologically in need of making art every day. So I don't know. You tell me how it is. What's the biggest difference in being a practicing artist in France compared to other places? I'm not sure, which is what it's good to have, you know, the guest streams that I have with, you know, other artists from around the world. I've only started doing this, and so far I had like 2 artists from the United States. And we talked about, we compared, you know, the different ways to make art, to be, you know, a professional artist in different parts of the world. But I need more, you know, comparison material to say anything about that. Next time I'm gonna have Andrew Tischler. I'm sure we'll have discussions about what it means to be an artist. I don't know exactly what's the difference, because I had a very different kind of path that most artists in France had. Like, I was mostly self-taught. I taught myself art that's not necessarily well liked in art institutions, so I didn't follow exactly the same type of path that, you know, your average art student in France would have. Like, I already went my own very unique way. So I don't even know if I can compare what being an artist in France is, because I have such a unique experience. I think every artist has like very, very unique. Each person has its own journey. It sounds kind of cliche, but what do you want? It's still true. Perhaps harder to make exhibitions in France? I don't know. In France we have galleries. Like, Paris is still very, it's probably not the best city in the world for shows, but it's definitely up there in the top capitals. If anything, you just, at least you have the prestige. Like Paris still sounds nice to a lot of ears, so you have this prestigious, you know, appeal, saying, hey, I had this solo show in Paris. Just for some people, the only world, like, it's just like if you're in fashion, if you say, hey, I had this show in Paris, they say, wow, that's fancy. Paris, Milan for fashion, and for art, you can say New York, London, Basel, if you're into contemporary, kind of prestigious art fairs. And Paris is up there. So I wouldn't say it's more like, I don't know, finding a gallery and exhibiting your work is always difficult no matter what. So it's always a little bit of a lottery. Good question, Gary. Anyone else painting, drawing, or making art at all? Music included? Did you make a live YouTube video about the trois crayons technique? Yeah, an old one though. It should, if it's still there, if it's still available, it should be in on my channel in the live section. I don't know if it's still there. You know, it's very old, so. Well, maybe it's the next one. Next one. Things are changing everywhere now with internet. Now paintings sold on internet, but you see them as pictures, not as paintings. Well, if you see them, but like a lot of artists make a very, very decent living just cutting the galleries out of the equation and selling directly. So if you take the cut out of the equation, leaves you with a more substantial, way more substantial amount in the end. And you can sell less, probably, for less expensive. You can either sell less paintings than what you would with a gallery, or sell for a lower amount, but you can still end up making more in the end, because if you take away the cut from the gallery, well, you can be winning in the end. Okay, let's try this. Need to go a little bit faster, so I'm going to use. This one is very dry, the one that I've used so far. I'm gonna try to use a softer version just to go a little bit faster. And finish this right side here. The problem is not the right cutter though. I'm trying to find the right. No, it's not the right cutter. Too different. I'm gonna kind of blend and correct. Doesn't matter. I'm not saving time at all. Actually making a mess, well, whatever. I want to avoid blending. It's just, yeah. I'm gonna have to. Technically, I would suggest to take the time and avoid blending, because sometimes with SANGUINE the blending doesn't give you the same hue. Sometimes the SANGUINEs, they have an undertone, and when you blend you reveal the undertone. It's weird. Not all of them do that, but like in some cases blending can be a problem. Always make sure that whenever you blend, after that you come up with your pencil again and resharpen those transitions, even if they're lost or soft. Use sfumato, exactly. Well, I want to use sfumato, but like right here, you see, it's like, it needs a little bit more. Needs a little bit more precision. I don't like that. I'm trying to go way faster than what I would normally do. I really want to finish, like we're already past the 2.5 hour mark. I don't want to make another stream on this drawing. I don't have the feeling that I need to finish it, but I would like to at least be a little bit satisfied with what I got in the end before I let you go. I don't want to finish on a sad mess. What's wrong with sad mess? Isn't my mess allowed to be sad? I don't think that anything. I don't think that anything that I can do with this would be hot. What I see is like a failed drawing. I just see sadness. I'm sorry. So it's the adjective that comes to my mind. Yeah, the painting, the drawing is sad if you let it go unfinished and unresolved. See, really one of the best things about the Sanguine is the ability to just use a very contrasted line. Like, let's say I want to, you know, emphasize this here. You can really play on this notion of line weight, and you can do a lot of things with this line weight. Like by just pressing harder very slightly, you can just change minimally, but if you press hard, you can just really make it darker and kind of give the impression that you can create some very good and surprisingly good shadows. Like the shadows work very well aesthetically, and also realistically the shadows do work with, even though it's just red, but it still reads as shadows. It feels like it's genuine shadows, even though it's just, you know, red spots. Wow, that's cool, Karen. Lighting is definitely like when I first set up in this new studio, lighting is the first thing that I worked on. And yeah, it can change your life. I would take the same optimal lighting with a room that's 10 times smaller than this. No problem, I don't care. But the light, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Definitely. The accent is on the neck, perhaps it's unfinished. I don't know. What's going on? Okay, tell me about the Tish. This Friday. Yeah. This Friday, Saturday for you if you are in New Zealand, because I know we have some people in New Zealand. Esther, I think, is from New Zealand. So Saturday for them, but like it's usual time. Hey, no problem, Barbara. See you next time. But I have to say this colored pencil, Pablo by Caran d'Ache, really good. I really like it. We recommend this one. It's not sponsored or anything, but I like it. What I like is that it's it can also work in a sketchbook, something like that. So pretty versatile. Well, where were you in the beginning of the stream? I announced it. It's also announced in the Discord. Yeah, I do have Andrew this Friday. So get hyped. Get hyped, people. Get hyped. Caran d'Ache is their favorite. Okay, cool. Hey, Christopher. Doctor's office? What? What? Is that autocorrect? Doctor's office? What? It was only the beginning of the stream though. Like here, the usual time, 9 PM for me in Paris. So, I don't know. Like I really need to have a bot that converts all the time zones, like in chat. I need to have, you know, because I know that like there are tricks that you can use. I could use my Steven bot and have him link to ChatGPT. That would be crazy. But you could ask technically Steven bot to calculate time zones for you and stuff. It would be awesome. I think you have to pay for the API key though, so I don't know. I don't know if I can do that, but sounds pretty intrusive. But I would love to have this because, like I said, like if you were there when I told about the sad story of how I managed my time to schedule a call with Andrew Tischler in New Zealand, it's just sad. Like I totally messed it up, and it could have been it could have been a very, very bad experience on Friday with no Andrew showing up because I didn't give the right time of day, like the actual wrong day. Oh boy. Yeah, it's just I'm so used to scheduling. Whenever I'm scheduling a call, normally it's either with some people from Canada or from the United States, and I'm used to think west from where I am. And I was thinking, like in my head, I was like, okay, let's just continue west. Just like New Zealand is just all the way west. If you keep like past America and you go west again and again and again, you reach New Zealand. So let's go this way. Actually, it's east compared to me. Like it's exactly. I think if I dig a hole and go through the center of the earth, I end up in Andrew's house. So maybe this is what I should do. But like it's yeah, it's technically east for me, so it means that it's ahead of me in time, like India. I should have thought about, okay, you go through India and then you reach New Zealand. But this is not how I did it. Oh yeah, ChatGPT gives me also a lot of wrong answers when it comes to art. Definitely. What I use ChatGPT, I do use ChatGPT when I have to write, you know, a script and all, but I consider ChatGPT, you know, to be a good bullshitter. Like, you know, I have this friend, like it's a bullshitter friend. Like, you can start him on any subject and he's going to make it feel like he knows it all. Very confidently, he's going to like give you advice that he knows nothing about, but with, you know, this charisma, this confidence that makes you think, well, does he know anything about that? Wait, hold on. Since when do you know about medicine? Or since when do you know about, I don't know, finances? Since when do you know about sports? But he's very, you know, he has this confidence. He knows how to talk. He knows how to bullshit you. And even when he has zero information on a topic, he has this ability to just talk and give you something that seems decent. And ChatGPT is like this for art with me. It's like, it gives you a lot of empty words and blah 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 and the introduction and this blah blah, but then you just, what you have to do is you take the bullshit away, you add some actual sentences that a human would say, and you add your own content, and it gives you like some sort of skeleton, and you can work around like it fills up the space when you need to just, let's say, write an intro. It gives you kind of ideas, formulations that you can quickly grab and use at your advantage, but you always have to, you can't use it like that. Like, you always have to verify whatever he's saying, double check and modify. But it still saves me some time in like making sentences for scripts. When I'm writing scripts, it's a help. It's a tool, just like my translation, the translation program that I use to translate. Whenever I need to know a word, like, it's just another tool in my toolkit. But it's very powerful, and it's getting better. Scary how it's getting better very fast. And not getting better at like the content, but at being even more of a bullshitter than it was before. You can translate times on the internet. Actually, for translating time, ChatGPT is great. Like, for that, because like, let's say you have to write an email and you have to just suggest a couple of times for the meeting with someone in a different time zone. Like, ChatGPT is going to very easily give you, you know, a nice paragraph or two for scheduling that with your the person you want to meet up with. Very easily. It's going to give you a very clean sentences, and it will be like, I think for the time zones it doesn't mess up. As long as you give it the right prompts. But yeah, it shouldn't mess up if you're clear on what you want. What was Karen's question? That's not a question. My first... Ah, my god. You write too much, I can't... My first introduction to serious drawing was singing in the Artist Square by Sacré-Cœur. Oh, this one is good. I saw... Yeah, I have some actually, but this is the one that I was looking for. I couldn't find them. The little squares. I do have them. They're really good. Christopher, you tried asking ChatGPT for mixing formulas for skin tones, and so? Did it give you a good... I know, like, for a fact, because I've asked, ChatGPT doesn't know much about painting, but he has, like, you know, some ground level knowledge, but actually not bad compared to what some bullshit teachers could give you. Like, you know, some people go to art universities and they have like kind of, you know, lame art lessons that don't really make a lot of sense. Well, ChatGPT has kind of the same level. He's never really giving very useful advice in terms of painting. Most of the time it gets things wrong when it gets very technical. Or, yeah, I don't know. However, it's still decent. But, like, don't get there asking ChatGPT about how to make a... I don't know. Like, yeah, mixing skin tones, making a medium, stuff like that. Doesn't necessarily know it's going to give you something kind of lame. A mix of different sources, probably, that don't necessarily make sense together. But as I said, like, it's not the worst. You can find human teachers that would be more disappointing than ChatGPT in actual art schools. I had the experience, like, myself. So, yeah. Not the worst. Not the worst you can find, technically. For a machine, a program that's just not conscious of what it's supposed to be, say, and do, I have to say, not bad. Oh, that's cool. Andrew announced the live on his Instagram. Wow, he's making early promo. Cool. And he's hyped because he's never done a live stream before. He does a lot of podcast. I'm sure you're familiar with his
emoji wall
great
unlocked.
podcast.
This
By the
is
way,
chaos.
we
Seriously,
also
we
had
need to
planned
break
that.
YouTube with emojis.
Oh my god,
We
it's
have 1
emoji
minute.
wall! Oh my god!
Let's go chat. We can do it. Let's go chat.
Emoji wall! Quick, quick!
Spam emojis. We need to fill the screen. No time to waste. I'm serious. We have to spam emojis in
Oh my
chat
god,
now
you're
before
so
the
slow,
timer
chat.
runs out. Hurry up. Quick. Let's go chat.
You're all sleeping. Christopher, you launched emoji and you're
We
not
have to
typing
spam
emojis?
emojis in chat now before the timer runs out.
Okay,
No time to waste. I'm serious.
let's go!
Hurry up. Quick. Let's go chat. Let's go
finally!
chat. Let's go chat. Let's
Whoa,
go chat.
whoa! It's popping. Oh my god. Are we
Hurry
breaking
up.
YouTube?
It ends in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop.
Ah, congratulations. Thanks, Christopher. Alright, good emoji wall. We have to prepare a nice emoji wall. We have to really train for Andrew's emoji wall. I think Kelsey last time was kind of Kelsey was exactly like what Karen is like. Emoji wall is just a moment in time when like we cross to a new dimension, when like we have to start only writing emojis in chat so that it makes little animations on the screen. It's just a game that we have, fun game. I think Kelsey was, she understood what was going on, but at first she was like, what? It was so funny. Oh my god. But she very quickly got the hang of it, and she contributed to emojis very quickly, which is cool, because it's not easy like to immediately jump and immediately be prepared for something like that. I mean, okay, I want to make sure that I'll have live chat replay. I got it. I don't know why for the stream with Kelsey from last time I couldn't see, you know, if you watched the replay, you didn't have the chat. So I was making sure that I have the option, because I do have, you know, the overlay that appears on screen, but I want to also have it here on the side of the or in the bottom if you're on your phone, so that it's like you always have like the option to watch if you're not there during the live, that you can still see chat. It's not the same, but it's still but I don't know why, but sometimes YouTube doesn't want to give the live chat replay. And I really think that's one of the best features. I mean, you are the best feature of these live streams, so you in chat, if I can't read, and if people can't read what the chat is saying, it's not the same. And having the overlay in the screen is good, but it's not the same. I want to have the full, you know, everything that YouTube allows me to do. It allows me to give chat replay. I want chat replay, and I don't know why. For Casey's stream, I don't have chat replay, and it's annoying. So I don't want this to happen with Andrew, so I was just checking my settings. Thank you, Paul66. I don't speak Spanish, but I got what you said. Yeah, I want full power, I want full force. Definitely. I wonder how the man could be with hair. Yeah. Yeah, you see the hat that he has in the study. Kind of a funky hat, if you ask me. Which tells me, like, in the study it's actually not that great compared to, like, I think this is this character, if I'm not mistaken. But when you see, like if you look at this, it's not comparable. When you see this, like the original painting, if it could have been finished, would have been very good, actually. Oh, you want me to do like Andrew did? Have you watched the video where he showed how he shaved his head without notifying his wife? I have to find this. I have to roast him about this when he's here. Because this is so funny. And if I do that, I know my wife is going to kill me. Oh man. It's so funny. I think it's one of his, it's for his 500k video. Oh no, he filmed it. I remember I remember this sequence. It was so funny. I was shocked because I was thinking, if I do that, my wife is just going to hate me for a month. Like outside of some type of disease. But yeah, you know. Yeah, see you, Drenky. See you next time. I hope you can be there for Friday's show with Andrew. It's gonna be a fun time. Yeah, you know what? I think she might tell about it when we're both super old. Like if I do that, she'll tell me about that forever. She'll always hold it as you know, eternal disappointment for just because she really hates it. When I was very young and like, you know, we weren't living together, we were dating but not living together. I did that once and she hated it. Like, because, you know, I was kind of like a boy at the time. I was more like, you know, I don't care about making my hair, having my hair done and stuff. I want to have like quick, and do my stuff and just have no hair to worry about. So I did this once and she hated it. She made me promise that I would not do it again. Now I have to. I still cut my own hair, but I do it properly. So do you really all call him Tish? Is it how he wants to be called, or because I never heard this, or is it just like a nickname that you guys came up with? I always called him Andrew. No. Is it something in the comments? Like the Tish. Oh yeah, okay, I see, yeah, the Tish, yeah, I know, okay, I get it. Alright, I think I'm gonna leave it like that. It looks good to me. I'm so excited for Friday. Don't miss it. Like, really. Oh yes, it's going to be cool. Double the art with Andrew. Don't miss it, really. You have to be there. I'll see you on Friday. I'm so hyped. So hyped. And I can already tell you that the Friday after Andrew, it's not going to be a guest one because I'll have a special schedule. I have a show, so I'm not gonna have a guest for the Friday after Andrew, but I'm already looking for new guests after Andrew. I had some artists decline. I've asked around, but I'm looking for a next guest, but I still have the list that you came up with. Okay, thank you for hanging around, and it was a great time. Thank you for being here. yeah, make sure you check the Discord if you have questions for me or Andrew. And I'll see you on Friday. Don't miss it. Really. I'm seriously, you guys. I'm so seriously. Don't miss it. Okay. Okay, I'll see you. Taking time off work on Friday. No, come on, don't do that. Unless you can. Unless you can. Alright. See you everyone. Bye bye. Take care.